All right, OTM Zay. There ain't no way I couldn't ask you about one of the biggest stories popping in social media right now. This whole thing that's going on over there on the West Coast, since we talked about the West Coast earlier, with No Jumper and BigU and the whole, what they're calling the Rolling 60 Rico, but it's really called Operation Drawdown, man. Now, what do you think about this whole situation?
I love it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm glad it happened. Like I've been you remember the last interview we did, bro, and I called out Adam and No Jumper. Because what Adam is doing is he making bread off of real life situations. Y'all coming up here talking about this stuff. All he doing is making bread. Then when the laws come, he going, hey, I ain't got nothing to do with it. So y'all up here talking, doing all this woo-wah the bam, BigU talking about how he extorting people, Luce Cannon talking about robberies and woo-wah the bam, and Bricc Baby talking about what Bricc Baby talking about, and now they done tied y'all up into a Rico.
Crazy. So, now what'd you think as a podcaster yourself? You've been on that camera where thousands of people been watching at a time. You guys are talking about hot topics and stuff. And you saw in the indictment, they actually had pictures and statements that were made on the podcast in the indictments. Did you see that? And if you did, what did you think? What did you think about that?
That's why I said I'm glad it happened, bro, so people can realize, bro, stop going to No Jumper. Stop talking to Adam. Stop getting this white man rich off of black people problems. Stop doing that. Y'all trying to take Adam to the hood. Y'all trying to, bro, that boy is the feds, man. That boy is the feds.
Now, Uncle Bang.
What'd you say?
A guy by the name of Uncle Bang, he believes that wholeheartedly. And this is his story. And I might.
Uncle Bang. Shout out Uncle Bang. I'll be watching his content.
He said when he used to live on the West Coast back in like 2000 something, right? And he met a lawyer there, and she works for the city now. And he said that lawyer told him specifically never to go up to No Jumper and not to go up there because they have that place wired for sound. It's bugs outside of just, the cameras that watch you, like for your communications and stuff. Now, I don't know if I believe that, but he said it.
I believe it. And let me tell you why I believe it, bro, because I went through it with Pop Austin. It was a point in time where Pop Austin was the feds. Not saying that they work for the feds, not saying that the people at Pop Austin was working for the feds. It's just that once you up there and you talking about stuff, and once you become a certain level, the feds is automatically gonna tap into it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Automatically gonna tap into it. So, bro, I done had run-ins with the gang force, with task units, with just from up there talking to Pop Austin. They can pull me over and yank me out my car and search my car, cut up my car and all type of stuff. And after they do all this searching, they'll ask me, we heard you say this about Pop Austin. They'll bring up people names and stuff from Pop Austin. So if that's happening at Pop Austin, we nowhere near as big as No Jumper. Don't get it wrong. We did our little thing. We created a nice little lane for ourselves, but we weren't nowhere near as No Jumper, bro. So if that's going on at Pop Austin, I know for a fact that's going on at No Jumper, bro. And I know that Adam know the feds is listening. Every time he go live, the feds is listening to Adam know that. Adam know that. Every time he go live on that camera, bro, the feds is paying attention and they listening to what they got people specifically, that's all their job is, bro. Hey, when No Jumper go live, you watch it, the whole thing.
Yeah,
that's all you do all day. When you go in and you clock in for work that morning, you know all you doing all day is watching No Jumper.
Now, this is the crazy part, OTM Zay. They would have said, if you would have said this last year, people would be saying you're tripping, but you're telling the 100% truth on that part because and it's not speculation because that's in the indictment. They like, we was watching the show. Bricc Baby said,
I'm telling you, bro.
They had the picture of there. They had the picture of him when he was in the red hoodie, and he was like, I'll put Kill Squad in the streets. They had all that, man. I said, what?
That's crazy because I didn't even read the indictment. I'm just telling y'all what I went through at Pop Austin. And like I said, if I'm going through that at Pop Austin and we half of what No Jumper is, I know No Jumper got to be going through that, bro. These people had a whole task force to sit down and watch what we was talking about on Pop Austin. So if they doing that for us, I know they doing it for No Jumper.
And I will say this. I'll say this, OTM Zay. I was so naive because I believed, like, why would they care about just watching a hip hop podcast and things like that? Like, what does the government care about any of that? Like, what? But then I started to think of it once all this came out in the case and I started reading it. I started to think of it as media. So anytime a media source shows up, say you started a newspaper, of course the feds are going to read that. Why wouldn't they?
Right.
They want to know what you're spreading to the public. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with these podcasts and stuff, man. So I was like, oh, snap. Once I thought about it from that angle, I'm like, man, maybe that isn't so far-fetched.
And let me tell you what they messing up at, right? What they messing up at is the details that they are saying on the podcast have not been released to the public. The only people that know these details is the people that did it and the feds. So when them people know that, hey, we ain't released these type of details to the public, you just got on there and you just said it and it matched everything that we got right here, they got you.
Yeah, that's what they had. I want to say it's like CI1 or something like that. He's like
and then they got CIs.
Yeah, he's one of the guys. He actually was being extorted. He was actually being extorted according to the this is according to the summary that was released by the Department of Justice allegedly by BigU and Luce Cannon. And Luce Cannon went on No Jumper and told that same exact story that the CI told. I said, God dang, man.
Yep. Luce Cannon, another one, bro. Luce Cannon, another one that just went up there and just ran his mouth loosely.
Now, I never thought about this until I was, I listened to all YouTube channels. I try to watch everything. And it was some YouTube I was watching, just small. And he said, man, I pick up on certain scenes or certain traits. And I think Luce Cannon might not be all there. Like, he might actually be like, something's up with dude. Like, he's not like perfectly normal.
Either, because I heard he not even a real Luce Cannon. I heard he stole his name from a producer that was working with Nas and stuff, and then he tried to act like he was doing that, like he was the one working with Nas and
that was in the Trap Lord Ross documentary. The Trap Lord Ross documentary.
I heard that from. That's where I heard that from.
He actually pointed that out. Luce Cannon isn't even the Luce, and I thought about this when I heard his name the first time. Yeah, the real Luce Cannon was a producer who worked with Nas back in the day. And he's like a well-known producer. So, and instead of being like, well, yeah, my name's Luce Cannon too, he tried to play himself off that he was that Luce Cannon. That's what I was like.
Luce Cannon.
That's great.
The famous producer working with some of the GOATs.
Yeah, and then they asked him one time and put him on the spot in the interview, was like, yo, so you work with Nas? Like, what song did y'all work on? If you work with Nas on a song.
I do so many songs I can't remember. How you ain't gonna remember what song you worked with Nas? You gonna remember what you did with Nas, bro. This one of the GOATs. This one of the greatest to ever pick up a microphone. You gonna remember that.
You might have it tattooed on you. You know what I'm saying? You gonna remember what song you did with Nas and produced.
Now that's different. If you worked on a song with me, you might not remember that. Hey, I can't remember what OTM Zay named that song. But with Nas,
come on, bro.
With Nas, bro, you gonna remember that.
And he was all cap. He never worked with Nas or whatever, according to the documentary and stuff, man. So it's wild that he got involved in this at such a level. Now, when it comes to Luce Cannon, what do you think about a lot of his street activity? Because, I mean, he's like in his 30s or whatnot, and he's really kind of getting active out there on camera and stuff like that. And it looks like a lot of that is going to come back to bite him in this case, because they're saying the guy Molly G or Molly Mall, the one from Vegas, the Molly from Vegas, that guy.
I think it's Molly Mall.
Yeah, they said that guy, he actually might be testifying in this case because of the situation where he ended up getting jumped on camera. Did you see all that?
Yeah, I seen that. It's dumb, bro, because to me, he might be outside really doing street stuff, but he's doing it for the internet to me, bro. All this stuff is coming from clout chasing. Everything. All this stuff that they are going through is coming from clout chasing the internet attention. And now look what they finna go through.
That's great.
You seen it with big homie CC when he ran into him in real life with him and Whack 100, man, them niggas wasn't on.
Yeah, they definitely wasn't about
Them niggas wasn't on nothing, bro. So to me, they internet gangsters, bro. That's that. It is what it is, bro. They doing all this stuff for the internet, and now the internet is what got them fried. It's what got them fried, bro.